So I did not expect this news today, but it's 2024. Who am I kidding? There's always going to be some sort of controversy with these games. And we're talking about this one right here. Posted by Pirate Nation. You may have heard of him before. Stalker 2 forum are banning people for mentioning that the requirements were false and that you are required to use upscalers. So yeah, GSC Game World has found themselves in quite the pickle today, but we have a response from the dev team about this one. But it's not all doom and gloom today either, because the dev team did post a brand new dev blog about the artifacts. These are actually really cool, and they do some really cool stuff to your character and change up the gameplay as well in some significant ways too. We're going to go over this blog post together later in the video. And don't forget, I'm still giving away a copy of Stalker 2, so be sure to check out that top pinned comment for a chance to enter. But yeah, let's get into this one right here. And remember, I'm going over your top comments as well. But we got to talk about what's going on with this post here, calling out GSC Game World for failing to mention the use of upscalers. And we got to have some context here. We got to start out with the original post, which is this one right here about the final system requirements, which people were kind of bummed about how demanding Stalker 2 seems, of course. But, you know, it looks like you can target 60 frames per second across the board. However, it seems like there's a catch. And, you know, there were a lot of clever users asking the right question. Hey, you know what? Is this with or without DLSS? Is this without any upscaling? NVIDIA did release their benchmarks, and it seems like not as all as it seems from that original post. When you dive into this right here, yeah, it seems like at 2K and 4K resolution specifically, to hit those 60 frames per second, it seems like you really do have to use DLSS or some sort of upscaling to hit that performance, which a lot of people are like, hell no, that is BS. That's not what we want whatsoever. And this original post did not indicate that at all. And people are somewhat furious about this, that there wasn't more transparency that they were using upscalers in that original post. It had a lot of eyeballs on it. In fact, if you go to that original post, you can see just how many views it got. You got 515,000 views. That's a lot of people assuming that they would be able to hit the 60 frames per second without upscaling. But we do have a reply from the dev team about this fiasco of a situation. And one reply in particular to Pirate Nation himself says, "Hello, guys, we are so sorry about that situation. Our new moderators provided this ban. He made a mistake with this topic. Before the release, we recruited an additional team of moderators to help us, but this does not remove responsibility. We have removed the ban already." So yeah, they commented about the ban, but when it comes to the upscalers in that situation, I finally found the answer on the official Stalker Discord. Check it out right here. It says, "This are the system requirements listed accounted for native resolution, or is upscaling also involved?" And the response is this one right here: "To achieve similar performance on specified PC characteristics, you should use TSR upscale technology for minimum settings. To achieve the specified performance at medium, high, and epic settings, DLSS, TSR, and their analogs should be used." And you could see by the reactions there to this comment that the community overall was not very pleased by that response. And if you're apprehensive about the situation, I get it. And the simplest solution is, guess what? Not to pre-order. Wait and see what happens on the 20th, because this game is going to be one game that I think is going to be seeing a lot of performance updates throughout its lifespan. And what's so funny is that there are hardcore Stalker fans that are just not fazed by the fact that this is most likely going to be an unoptimized game. Check it out right here. Stalker 2 is going to be an unoptimized buggy mess. Brother, if it doesn't play like this, I don't want it. So you can clearly see here that, seems like hardcore fans are kind of like expecting this. And they're probably going to go with the flow at launch. And yes, the game is probably going to be seeing those updates rolling out right out of the gates. But, you know, when you go into this thread, you can see that there are people asking about upscaling. Will there be upscaling options like DLSS FSR? We do know, yes, that is a thing. Please tell me if the game supports frame generation. So yes, it does go to show that there is a portion of the crowd that is still very much interested in utilizing those features. But for the most part, it seems like a lot of you guys wanted that pure experience. But I gotta know, in most of your games, if you're on PC, of course, if you guys use any sort of upscaling currently for most of the games, of course. If a game is like super optimized, there's no need for it. But overall, let me know. Sound off in the comments down below. if you like prefer upscaling, if you utilize it at all, or if you're like, hell no, I absolutely refuse to use any type of upscaling in my games. But it's been kind of wild to see how divisive the comments have been about this one situation in particular. You have on one hand those that are really supporting GSC Game World, and then on the other, those are the really, questioning the situation, questioning GSC Game World. And then you have like kind of this infighting between the two. Some people are calling, those that support GSC Game World shills, and then others calling those that are going after GSC Game World grifters. And I get both sides of the argument. On one hand, people absolutely love this developer. There's a lot of history here, and they want them to have a win, of course. And they've been through hell. I completely get that. And then on the flip side, there's a lot of apprehension with gaming in 2024, given the current state of PC games, and also the fact that, yes, a lot of games aren't optimized. They just go straight into upscaling. They don't have to optimize. They're lazy, So I get that perspective as well. Oh, we got to get into some of these comments here. Check it out right here. It says, judging from 55K views, that poster will literally do anything for clout. Loads of people hyper-focused, and praying the game runs like shit is about what I have seen from these threads. Of course, it's Unreal Engine 5. Of course, it's unoptimized. Definitely not the ancient gear you're using for a modern engine. And then we have this take as well. Lying by omission is still lying. In fact, it's even worse because it shows the developers don't care about the consumers. We had to dig the information out of GSC reps on Discord to post confirmation instead of having the balls to just clarify with the chart to begin with. And then there's people that are straight up blaming the mod in the first place. Looks like they accidentally let some Reddit mods in to run the show, the world's worst mods. Let me know what side of the fence you guys are sitting on with this situation. Yeah, it's also, if you're on like Xbox, it's going to be on Xbox Game Pass as well. After seeing what's going on with the PC, by the way, I am more like wondering what is happening with the Xbox version of this game at this point. But yeah, I promise you guys that it's not like all doom and gloom. And that leads us into the Artifacts blog post, which was just posted. It says, among all the wonders of the zone, artifacts are the most researched and categorized, yet still mysterious and valued, as their properties are shifting and transforming as the soil that nurtures them. Even before Circa, scientists from the mainland were ready to enrich seekers for the rarest samples. The years have passed, and stalkers are still finding a worth to come and die for them. And it says search, detect, grab, use, and sell, of course. Now we have Soul. And what is Soul? So you can find this artifact. It's an iconic and one of the most superstitious findings in electro anomalies. This is the zone souvenir of choice and a beloved artifact of stalkers because its energizing properties making active movement less exhausting and seemingly more fun. Despite its fragile appearance, no known method exists to damage or shatter it. So that one sounds like it's going to be really good for traversal and getting around the open world. And then we have, of course, Stoneheart. You may have seen this one teased in post as well. It says, no one knows for sure the man who found it first and created the tell. To this day, stalkers claim the controller's heart resembles the common gravitational artifact. Any recorded disproof hasn't appeared yet, though. Long-term interaction with mammal species leads to an increase in their connective tissue density. For local subjects, that mainly means they can grab and carry more precious scrap. This one's going to be excellent for, of course, collecting that scrap as well. Now, we have Mama's Beads. That one actually looks pretty cool. And it says, considered a lucky find, this thermal artifact is highly profitable due to its demand on the black market and its beneficial biochemical effects on its bearer. A game-changing booster that influences the bloodstream, it allows stalkers to almost forget about using bandages or other conventional ways to stop bleeding. This is going to be excellent, it seems, in combat. And we also have, yes, cannot forget about the Colo Walk, which of course has this really cool green look to it. It says not easy to find, even harder to keep. This chemical artifact can slip from its bearer by stinging with microfilaments and transforming into an amorphous mass. Properly secluded, it warps the cell structures of the nearest organism, making it remarkably resistant to any type of aggressive chemical agent. This is going to be excellent for resistances for sure. And then Magic Cube, let's talk about it. One of the luckiest and most experienced artifact hunters got a chance to take hold of this rare treasure of gravitational anomalies. Its mechanism is still not researched properly, but the effect is notable. Tangible damping of external kinetic energy burst. Extremely valuable and nearly invisible while being irradiated by the infrared spectrum. The zone is full of wonders, and these are just a few of the dozens of artifacts that can be found, exchanged, or looted. Whether you seek to make a fortune or embrace the risks and rewards of using them, the choice is yours. So yeah, there's more of those to find in the world. That's just like a little taste. So that's one of the reasons why I shared the blog post at first. I was a little bit apprehensive about sharing anything related to this game because of spoilers, but those things I think are little teases into the world. And you have to really find them as well. And I'm curious to see what other creative artifacts they've actually made for us to find as well. So we're really finding out, of course, as we, venture into the zone. But you guys know what time it is. It's time to go over your top comments. As always, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. Love reading your comments, so let's do this, see what you guys had to say. So we have, I'm sorry, but if a single Call of Duty game can take up 150 gigs, I don't see that many red flags in a game like Stalker also being that big. Not only that, but it's been said to be 150 gigabytes since the original specs were released back in 2020. Yeah, I see no reason to really panic about this at all. It just means that it's an absolutely massive game. Again, when it comes to performance, that's a whole other issue. We'll see how it's performing at launch. But again, I say brace yourselves. I do think that there's going to be some optimization needed in the future. Then we have 160 gigabytes, Laughs in Ark Survival Evolved. And then we have, what are you so surprised at 160 gigabytes? Photorealistic textures in a 60 square kilometer map. Hell yes. Considering many of the people buying this game will have had experience with Misery, Gamma, EFP, and other variants of the original, I'm guessing it won't be as hardcore as some are expecting. Yeah, I'm really excited to hop into this one. I played a lot of Metro Exodus as well, and that's one of my all-time favorite games. There's also this whole thing, is Metro Exodus better or worse than Stalker franchise? But the whole thing is, for me personally, they are just like apples and oranges, very different games. It's very difficult to compare the two for sure. Now we have this one right here. All I know is if I don't hear cheeky breaky in the distance, it's not a Stalker game. Yeah, 150 gigabytes is nothing nowadays. Yeah, they keep upgrading the SSDs as well, with even consoles putting in bigger and bigger hard drives for sure. All right, so there it is. Your top comments. Thank you all so much for all the comments. I wish I could read over every single last one of them. I try my best to actually read a lot of them, even if I don't respond. But thank you all so much for the love and support on the recent videos. I greatly appreciate it. Stay tuned here for more Stalker 2. I have you guys covered, and I will see you all next time. Take care.